Man, the Pokemon community is such a cesspool that Verlisify Always Right doesn't even hit like it used to. It turns out in the recent VGC scandal, everyone sucks. Yeah, even the player that got abused by a judge, turns out he's just a bratty punk, but also all the other players involved, they're defending the judge that instigated this that led to the abuse of the player. And there's all kinds of madness and other weird things to break down, so I don't even know where to begin. Let's talk about the player's opponent. So that was kind of one of the things from the story where the player wasn't allowed to take off his headset, and then he saw like the judge talking to Alex, the opponent, and his response just kind of seems like he threw the abused player under the bus and also led to this happening instead of showing sportsmanship or trying to do anything to defend the player. So this is a lie. This is probably a dangerous tweet for me. He's got pronouns in his bio. He's got a mask on his profile. He's fine. Should the player have been DQ'd? I don't think so. You know, the softest, safest language in this so-called dangerous tweet. And then this is where the narrative has really been spun around. But remember, y'all, this isn't an excuse to attack inclusivity or people's identity. Also remember that judges are, by the rules, completely unable to share their side of things. And actually, that's another lie that kind of propagated. I went through the rules and I couldn't find anything about that. I found this in the rulebook about professor professionalism. So professors should take care to avoid public discussion of sensitive rulings or exchanges at events that could cause embarrassment or emotional distress to the parties involved. Well, the parties involved have made public posts about this, and it's not even forbidden. It is to avoid this discussion. However, when it comes to like such serious rulings and stuff like that, it could even be better and beneficial to the situation to kind of clear up what happened. Now, there is a section in the rules about confidentiality and forbidden behavior, and the public discussion of rulings is not in there. So it just kind of seems like this is a lie, or it's like an unspoken rule that everyone follows, but then that's just even more weirdness to how the rules were completely mishandled in this by all parties involved. And it gets even worse. Now, we can really see how much of a piece of trash Alex is from the way he replies to people about the situation. So he was asked, hey, is there any way that what the player said could have maybe been misconstrued or something? And he says, honestly, I could see how someone would have been offended from his tone and his speech patterns during the whole sequence of events. And that really makes you think what he said to the judge, again, when the player like had to keep his headphones on and couldn't see the judge talking with Alex. It really makes you think like what Alex said to the judge, where it's like, yeah, you know, I could see where that could have gone wrong. So this could all be because of this player not looking out for a fellow competitor. And it really seems like, because this is a crucial match, both players are 5-0 looking to get into day 2. That is a free win if you get your opponent disqualified and you play to the identity crowd, which he already has through his bio and profile picture. And also, again, the language and defense of the behavior against the player, the defense of the abuse of the player. But I know the player well enough that I didn't think he meant any harm or had malicious intent. Now, it really doesn't seem like that's what he told the judge, or else we wouldn't have been in this situation. We were walking for the first question. This is the most safe, zero integrity response I could imagine from it, where it's like, yeah, I could have seen how people are offended, but, you know, I know this guy, so it doesn't seem like he meant any harm. However, you know, I don't think that he should have been disqualified. If you're actually trying to stand up for someone because you respect them or you know them, you say, absolutely not. Should he have been disqualified? Absolutely not. Is what all the judges did, all of the judges involved did wrong? Absolutely. Nope, instead of that, it's defending the behavior of the judge that instigated this. I called him out on it, so his response was, the player is one of the minority people I actually like in this game. And yet he just straight sells him out. But people like you exist that jump on situations to attack people. I defended the player. I got outraged and angry on a level I was not expecting as I was reading his story in the video. And all of these disgusting people in the play Pokemon scene got upset at me for defending the player. It's outrageous. So I need to add that second part of the tweet. Go get lost and create drama somewhere else. So I read someone else's story. I defend the player that was abused by Pokemon tournament officials so badly that he wanted to immediately jump in traffic and end his life. I get outraged by that, and that's me creating drama. Even though other people were allowed to comment on the situation. And then I'm literally just a player who sat across from him. It just so happens that I was the only player witness. What more do you want than DQ was bad? And see, it's again, like, this guy's just lying. He's lying nonstop because he has zero integrity. It's actually insane how in the same screen and back-to-back replies, you can actually see how much of a scumbag this dude is because he just contradicts himself. Oh, I'm just someone that sat across from the kid, you know, that's all my involvement. And then, oh, but this player's actually someone I actually like in this community. And he didn't say DQ was bad. He went, I guess he shouldn't have been DQ'd. So, I mean, this dude's just a scum liar about the whole situation. And then, again, tries to deflect off of what ended up happening that led the player to wanting to jump into traffic. And instead of defending the player that was abused by multiple judges to be put in such a distressing situation, the narrative has become this. Please don't use the unfortunate circumstances surrounding the DQ this weekend as an excuse to be transphobic. So, we actually have it to where someone who identifies as they, them, power tripped to put a minor in this situation. We're not allowed to talk about that fact of the situation, that because someone didn't properly state their pronouns when interrogated on it, they were then pushed to the point of wanting to take their own life. Nope, gotta deflect. You're not allowed to say that. That means absolutely nothing, even though this is something that is getting more and more common. And what happened in Nashville was also motivated under these same politics. The abuse from one side is objectively rising, and there are more and more incidents like this that are occurring, but you're not allowed to talk about them. You're not allowed to identify it. You're not allowed to defend yourself from it. You just gotta take it. If you disagree with pronouns, go play in traffic. That's literally the state of things, and you're not allowed to push back against it whatsoever. Now, there are some other things going on, because remember, there's multiple judges involved. There's the judge that got offended because they were like, oh, well, I'm a they, them, so you don't have to be a jerk about it, even though there was no malicious intent whatsoever, admitted by multiple parties as well, which is, again, just makes it so extra weird. So that judge escalated it, said they felt unsafe because someone went, he, him, because they weren't expecting to just be on command given their pronouns in a very straightforward way, and no one's allowed to say anything about that. But then the head judge refused to reverse the decision or de-escalate as a judge is supposed to do, even though he was 100% allowed by the rules and encouraged by the Play Pokemon rules to do so. Well, it seems like we have that person. Head judge Bobby was the head judge of the Masters Division, who is the manager of Cool Stuff Inc., MTG, and Maitland. Okay. Why is it that there's always something sketchy going on with managers around Cool Stuff? This happened to me in South Florida. Well, not happened to me, but happened with me and my friend group, where it's like, man, there's always something sketchy about Cool Stuff management. I've always supported Cool Stuff because of the MTG content. I can't support this content because imagine new players being treated by this person. So then we actually have, like, the release for the tournament, you know, welcome to 2023 Charlotte Regional Championships. We have all these competitors, person will be your head judge, so Masters Division, 1,166 competitors. Bobby Clark will be your head judge today, 9 rounds, 6 more rounds tomorrow, top 8. So people found that out, and it turns out that this guy actually has a history of being a jerk, and then, now this is where it gets kind of confusing, because this guy came in and he's like, yeah, I want to kind of drop the deets on it, but it seems like this is about dropping on the head judge instead of the judge that felt unsafe and instigated and created this entire situation. So I'm going to find out more information. Multiple witnesses are reporting that the judge is a certain person known to be a jerk, actively making the community unsafe for years. I'll absolutely name drop them once I get confirmation. Want to go guns blazing out of respect and inclusivity. I need to be absolutely certain before I put a name out there. I'll speak on this when I have necessary info. So it doesn't seem like people are... And then, like, what's going to happen to the judge that created this situation? It's not only the head judge that created this problem, but it seems like the head judge, a jerk, and then the judge that escalated this was just seriously power tripping, and now we have a mess on our hands, and the entire Pokemon community just kind of being scummy about it as well. And then the crazy thing is, the punk blocked me for bringing awareness to his story that he publicly posted. He said, like, I don't give you permission to post this, but it's a public story. So I'm reporting on a tweet you publicly posted on your public account. You're the one making a bigger deal by letting every single person share and comment on it except for one, me. So that's like another weird thing. If we're supposed to be about inclusivity and discrimination bad, discriminating a single person from talking about a public story, and then only attacking that person for defending the player from abuse and power tripping and overstepping judges and all this crazy stuff. I've gotten hundreds of comments now of people just attacking and lying about me for talking about a public post everyone is allowed to comment on and share. That's just how scummy the Pokemon community is. I'm not allowed to be given the opportunity to do the right thing, and then somehow it's always wrong. Like, Verlisify always wrong, no matter, you know, even though I'm just like, hey, we need to bring awareness to this problem that has been a problem in Pokemon for many years now, and I've been showing and talking about all the corruption in play Pokemon. How nothing is ever done about abusive players, cheating players, abusive judges and tournament officials, and just all that other stuff like that. And then they tried to turn it and attack me for that. And that makes me feel extra bad for the player being abused in all of this, because now they're being warped by all of these objectively disgusting and toxic people that can only hate. They only know how to hate me. They only know how to make the scene worse and more unpleasant for every person and encourage this behavior, as we've kind of talked about, just kind of saying like, oh, the player that got abused by a judge, that doesn't matter. What really matters is that we ignore the actions of the judge and stick to being inclusive. This stuff is evil, and I'm the only one trying to do anything about it. It's like, this is where I just got like to it being beyond crazy with all the other stuff going on, and yeah, like, wow.